He said,
We are live.
"We are
We're live.
live."
We're not dead. We're gonna be talking to the dead, but we're live. So welcome to another Tuesday night. Kevin's got more haunted freaking doll stuff, and he's got one on the way. He's got 1,500 in his house. He's probably got 2 or 3 in his pocket and his trunk of his car. So we're
my
gonna get into
car.
that. We're going to talk about a few things. I think that between him and Catherine, they're probably going to fill up 2 hours pretty quick tonight. So I'm going to turn this over to him because I don't like the hat I've got on. I'm going to go change hats.
Oh boy!
I think Catherine's going to join us here in just a minute.
Should I do this doll spirit box or tell the story first?
Do the spirit box is normal what you do first.
Yeah, it is.
Keep it a routine.
Keep it routine.
Don't be changing things up now. You
Keep it routine.
confuse our spectators.
Well, all right then. I'm going to go ahead and share all this. We make sure everybody gets on here.
Get it on. Get it on.
Get it on. Let's see. Your movies, your videos. This is a video. It's not a movie.
What are you talking about? Where do you see a movie?
I'm pulling up my YouTube to share it. It was going down my list. It had your movies and your videos. And
oh, you don't want to do that. You gotta be careful.
I want to share my video, my movie.
You're bound and determined to really confuse people today.
I'm not going to confuse.
There's a gear that belongs to Catherine. There's the rest of her. Okay, I'm gonna back out and I'm gonna let you do your thing, and I'm gonna go change hats.
He's gonna go change hats, and I'm gonna do a spirit box here as soon as I get this here shared. And then we got some stories. I know this one over here's got a story too. And then I pulled up a couple of spirits. I'm getting tongue tied in the excitement. I got some stories of my encounters with some child ghosts outside of my haunted collection here. That'd be fun to share. All right, I want to make sure everybody gets on, or at least that I've shared this before I start the spirit box. I'll go ahead and tell about the little doll here, and she is a beauty. So I can't wait to bring her out. I can't remember if I got her off of eBay or if this was from one of the people on my Facebook. It might have been Facebook. I don't know. I couldn't bet my life on it. So I'm going to go ahead and share this on my Facebook. And I'm going to share it on the groups here because I want to make sure they get on or they have a chance to get on before I start the spirit box, because sometimes I get scolded if I don't share this on time. They say, I didn't know, I came late. So there we go. That's on my page now. And I think we got a few people tuned in now. But the doll I have here is a beautiful little doll. Her name is Peggy. And I've had her for a while. I've had her since I lived in that old house in Westover. And the spirit is named Peggy. And it's a little adorable 6-year-old little girl who chose this doll. I'll show you can see in a minute when I show her that she picked just the right doll, because little Peggy loved to skate. She loved to ride. I mean, she was only 6 years old, and she loved to roller skate, and she loved to ice skate. And the doll here is a little skater doll. I think it might be, it's porcelain. I was going to say it might be one of those American Girl dolls, but I don't know if they ever made those in porcelain. They're usually vinyl. But this is a vintage one. It's not something new that you'd find in Walmart. And I'm about to show her in just a second as soon as I share this on the Haunted Dolls and Paranormal. And here we go. So this is Peggy. We don't know how she died. I want you to look at these beautiful sparkling blue eyes. Look how they just sparkle. And she's got the little ribbon in her hair. And look at her little skating outfit. Ooh, there's a little cat hair and dust I'll have to clean off later. And she's wearing little skates. Look at these little ice skates.
She's so cute.
And look at this little toothy smile. So she chose a she chose a little skater girl. Now she was sick, is all I know as far as her passing away. We don't know anything beyond that, or whether she's going to want to talk about that. But we'll ask, and if she doesn't want to. But I put a few toys out here, nothing scary, since she's just a bitty boo. I don't want her to be scared. And I've already told her we got a bell here that she can ring. And, of course, the little cat ball that most kids love. Thought I had that turned on. There it goes. Have to wake it up. So, Peggy, if you want to play with that ball and light it up for us, you can. We're going to go ahead and start the spirit box, and people are tuning in, so that's good. Let's go ahead and get this started. Come on, Ghost Tube. Here we go. All right, the Ghost Tube is on, Peggy. And if you'd like to talk to it, just come close to it, and I should be able to hear you. Just speak right close to it. Are you here, Peggy? Peggy, say hello. Well, it's quiet right now. I know I have the volume turned up. Is there anybody here that can maybe help Peggy talk? She's got that little white bow in her hair up there. I don't know if you can see it with the light. He's so cute. Those little curls. That little white bow in her hair up there. I don't know if you can see it with the light.
Sorry.
It just said the light.
WBZ.
Oh, we're getting a voice now. Are you here with Peggy? That was a man's voice, so I know it's not Peggy. What is your name? Oh. What is your name?
Kevin, it said your name just before it said that.
Okay. So I've heard a female and a male voice. Are you related to Peggy?
Children.
Said children. I heard that. How many children are with this doll? A lot? Is that what it just said? Wow. So I thought there was only one spirit. Is Peggy still with this doll? It sounded like he said, you're asking. Yeah, I'm asking a question.
Yes, it did say you're asking.
Yeah. Are you protecting Peggy? Ooh, that was garbled. Something has been or something.
Someone has been.
Oh, well, that's good because she's a sweet little.
Explain real quick how we're doing this. I'm actually you get to hear this live through the computer, and I've got my phone sitting in my lap, and I get to replay it a few seconds later. That's how I'm getting to hear it twice.
Whoa, there was a low voice that sounded like it started to say 14 dead or something like that. And it was very low and dragged out. Sometimes we get creepy voices on the spirit box that aren't even related to the item.
You're dead.
You're dead? Is that what it just said? I know I'm not dead. Well, I mean, in a way, we all.
That low voice, I had to go back and listen to it several times. It sounded like it said Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. And you could say we, the living, are the walking dead because we're going to be dead one day. Like they say, dead man walking on the death row. Can you please touch the little cat paw there and make it light up? Or you can ring the bell there. It's an old hotel bell that's pretty neat. I know Shirley, who's still sitting next to me over here, her little spirit that's with her loves the hotel bell. We found that out. So you said somebody has been protecting Peggy. I hope there was nobody or nothing trying to hurt her. Does Peggy still like to skate? I wasn't sure what that last voice said.
In the top.
I wasn't sure what that last voice said.
In the top.
I wasn't sure what that last voice said. Peggy, I'd love to hear your voice. Can please say hello to us? Wow, that was a lot of. I don't know. I got a feeling she's being kind of shielded here. Well, I got a feeling.
Kevin, she's being kept quiet.
And a voice, that last voice said awkward, it sounded like.
Rain.
Oh, I heard a little girl in the background say, "Hey, hey, Peggy. It's good to at least get to hear from you."
The woman's voice said play.
Play. Well, oh, I heard a little girl in the background say, "Hey, hey, Peggy. It's good to at least get to hear from you."
The woman's voice said play.
Play. Is there a reason that Peggy is being shielded? I heard a response, but I didn't quite hear what you said. Can you come closer and repeat that? She is so cute. And that was a little girl's voice just now.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I'd love to hear from you,
That's
Peggy.
what the voice said was, are you sure?
Yeah, are you sure? And that was a little girl's voice. Maybe we're finally hearing from little Peggy. Excuse me, I'm clearing my throat.
I couldn't quite understand everything, but it said something nice.
Of course, I know I'm going to be nice to Peggy. She's one of my spirit kids.
Family is what it said.
Family. Yeah, we're all family here, and hopefully you've got your spirit family with you, and we're all family here too. I would still love if you might not, if you can't, that's okay, but I would love for you to play with the cat ball. Just light it up, make it real pretty. I know it takes a lot of energy. If you want to take some off this camera, it's plugged into this camera in my hands is plugged in where you can get some electricity. And this phone has the battery there if you want to use that a little bit. I still got plenty of charge, and I can charge it up later.
Peggy, who's with you? Who is with you, Peggy?
We go.
That sounded kind of anxious.
Oh my God.
There's no reason to panic. We just want to know who's all there. Make sure everybody's okay. Peggy always seemed like a happy baby. Like she didn't really need anything, so I hope she's still happy. Didn't quite hear that. Can you say that louder? Well, I do love that Peggy. I'm glad she's still here. Who's here with you, Peggy? I heard a trumpet in there and a voice. I'm not sure what it said. I know one thing I need to brush off your dress a little bit before I put it back. It's hard to tell in this light. The camera isn't very complimenting. But this is a beautiful dark blue suede dress she's got on with that little ice skating, the little skate on it. And I showed earlier, but I showed again her little ice skates that she's wearing. As I was told, Peggy loves to skate. We've got a lot of voices here. Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
It sounded like it said, and she's quite good.
She's quite good. Oh, that's good. Well, I bet she is. And that's very impressive for a 6-year-old to be able to skate quite good. Peggy, did you get sick? That sounded like a little chuckle.
I'm unmuting it so we can hear it again. Was a chuckle.
Oh. Are you feeling? I guess you're feeling better now, huh? Did something happen to you while you were skating one day? That was a loud and clear response. You're still welcome to play with these items.
Did we explain to her how to?
Yeah, what?
Did we explain to her how to do the bell?
Yeah. You can tap that to ring it if you want to. And you can touch that, make it light up. Well, there we go. That might take a little more effort. That might be why we haven't seen it go off. I don't know if the battery's going down. And I do not know how to open these things to. Looks like if you touch it long enough, it'll go off, though.
Yep, that's a little difficult. We may need to order some more of those.
I know I saw the little batteries in there, those little 3 batteries, but I don't how in the world to open that without breaking it. I don't know. But they're cheap, so the cost of them is about the cost of a pack of batteries, so or cheaper.
I was gonna say it is probably cheaper to buy the balls than it is to buy batteries.
And I think you know what? I need to look. But I think I might have one that hasn't been used yet in this cabinet down here. I'll check that. What else would you like to tell us tonight before we stop? Well, it's gotten quiet, so it's your last chance. Or anything you want to say, go ahead and say it. All right, well, it's gotten quiet, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I'm going to count down from 5. If there are any spirits who don't belong, go back to where you came from, and all other spirits, be sure to back away. I'm going to shut the door, turn this off when I get down to 1. I sound like okay, bud, but I'm not sure if that's what it said. All right. 5. Oh,
I'm disgusted, is what it sounded like to me.
I'm disgusted.
Yes.
Oh, don't be disgusted.
Man, Miss Tracy, are you counting down yet?
Well, just a second now, cowboy.
Hang
Okay.
it all night. Hang it all night.
All right, I'm counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Goodbye. There we go. I wonder, did you pick up on who was shielding her, Catherine, or anything about that?
There is an older gentleman, like a grandfather.
Yeah.
It's more than a father.
Yeah, I thought fatherly, then I thought, no, there's something more. So I guess that's what that meant when I was thinking more.
More powerful.
So it wasn't
Hopefully
negative.
not more.
Hopefully not what?
I think.
Trying to straighten the camera out here.
Now, so did anything interesting pop up with this girl?
We got, well, the responses, there was a
Could
grandfather.
you understand? Did you learn anything?
There's a grandfather there with her, protecting her, and it did confirm that she can skate quite good. So that part of the story is accurate. She is a little skater.
Really? Okay.
And I didn't know her grandfather was with her. So that's good to know. But she spoke a few times there. But it was
Okay.
mostly him doing the talking for her because he's sort of protecting her. And we got some comments. Is that? Oh, that's just hello. Okay.
That's Catherine saying hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
So you'll notice the bottom of the screen, the Wish Doctor's wishing machine now on sale at www.wishdr.com. Catherine later in the show may have something fascinating to share with everybody, so stick around for that. If you want your dreams to come true, if you want your whatever it is you want, if you want it really bad, really, do you really want it?
I'm so excited to tell you guys what this is, and I just don't know if I can wait for the rest of the night.
So anyway,
Echo.
now that Kevin has the floor and the chair and the ceiling and the hat, now that he's all in charge there, the thing that we need to be thinking about with Mr. Kevin Kane is the fact that he has a story he wants to share about a doll that I believe he does not have in his possession yet. But it's on the way.
Yes, she has. She has shipped today. The lady in
and I believe you do have a photograph of this here in special doll. Is there also a little video of this doll?
Yes. Well, the video I'll have to pull up on Facebook here for
I think you can handle it.
But I can do that. Let's see. Let me go back and find.
I understand that you know something about doing this stuff.
Let me go back real quick here and pull up the.
Don't go too quick. You start making mistakes if you move too quick.
Let's see. Well, dang. Which was that on Freaky Dolls or Haunted Dolls? Let's see here.
What about Freaky Dolls?
Freaky Dolls. Let's see. I'm gonna need to find Creepy Dolls or Haunted Dolls. Where was this? Where I commented on her thing and she came back and the heck. Okay, let me go on here and find the comment because this wasn't but a few days ago. Here we go. And I can pull up her picture.
All right, I'm gonna give you more screen space.
Here we go. Here's the picture. All right, let me go ahead and share the screen here. All right, there we go. No. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Facebook. There we go. There she is. That is little Clara. And it says over here, sweet and smart 7-year-old Clara. Clara hails from Phoenix City, Alabama, and was born in 1972. So she's a 70s girl. She loves being spoiled and loved on as she was the only child. Jewelry and all things girly are gifts she loves. And then it tells about she's communicated with the pendulum, spirit dice, which I don't have spirit dice yet. I need to get those. Dowsing rods. And here's something I didn't really know about, a bullet light, which Brenda is sending a bullet light with her. And but Phoenix City, Alabama, I read that. And I thought, oh, this is going to be cool because she's from Alabama. And I live here in Alabama. So when I saw this doll, there was definitely a pull there. Like, you need to be interested in me. And the night that I looked at this doll was Saturday night. The night before, some activity had already kicked up in my house here. I was sitting out in the den here, the den/doll room, watching television. And I saw twice a figure peek around the corner from the dining area into the den. It peeked around. I looked up real quick and it was gone. I looked down again and in the corner of my eye, see it peek around again, and it looked like it was walking toward my area. But I looked up and it was gone. And it was sort of a short figure. Might have been a young person. And I thought, oh, we're getting some activity here. And my cat kept looking that way, like somebody was, like she could see somebody over there. And she was doing that again last night. But Sunday night, was it? No, it was Saturday night when I saw this doll. And I felt like a little pull toward her. And the fact that she's from Phoenix City, Alabama was just too much to pass up on. So I commented to Brenda, well, first, before I did, I was debating because I said, I don't have a lot of room here. So I'm not sure if I should be putting another doll out here. I don't like that I get so many of them and don't get to spend time with each and every one because there's so many of them. And some of them do need more attention than, undivided attention than others. So, and it sounded like when I read this about her that she's girly and likes to be center of attention and spoiled. I thought, well, I shouldn't go adopting her. She's going to be over here mixed in with a whole horde of children and not get that attention. So maybe somebody who doesn't have as many spirit dolls and items should come along and adopt her. Well, it wasn't but a few minutes after I cut off everything. I got off of Facebook, went back to doing what I was doing in the den. And all of a sudden behind me, right behind my head, I hear little voices start chattering. I mean, right behind my head. And right behind the sofa there where I was sitting, there is that display case with some of the dolls that are sitting on it and inside it. Then back beyond that are the other dolls. So I said, oh, there's a conversation going on. I turned around and it stopped. So I faced forward. And the chattering starts up again. I turned back around. It stopped. I faced forward. I said, yeah, somebody's having a discussion here. And I keep thinking about Clara and her doll. So I take my cell phone and use it like a mirror. I turn on the camera with the selfie side and I lift it up to see if I can sneak a peek behind me and see if I see any movement. And I didn't see anything, but I did hear somewhere back there a rubbing sound, like a finger rubbing on glass. And so the activity kind of kicked up there. And I just had a feeling, I'm going to start getting annoyed here unless I go in here and adopt Clara. So I don't know if that was Clara, her spirit was already there, or the other kid saying, hey, you need to adopt Clara. But I felt strongly that I needed to adopt this doll. So I went back on Facebook, and that's when I put my comment. If she's available, I'll take her. I live in Alabama. Perhaps she'd enjoy coming back to her home state. And I've got many child spirits around for her to play with. So the next day, Brenda sends me a video. She does a little video here of Clara asking her if she excited about coming to Alabama. So let me pull this up, turn on the noise.
Can you light that one up? Okay, one more time. Can you light that one up for me? It's the pretty soft light. A little bit of unity. Go. Excited to go to Alabama, your hometown?
Now, let me pause this. The sound is not very good. You can't really hear her well, but she's asking Claire, are you excited about going back to Alabama?
Are you from Alabama? Oh, yes. He is excited. The little camera shot.
So Clara starts swinging that pendulum pretty hard.
Your home? That's definite, yes. Okay, can you light the light for me?
So that is Clara.
Okay, one more time.
So,
can you light that one up?
Let me stop sharing here. So, I have adopted Clara, and I got the message today. She did ship out today, and I don't know what day she'll get here. Let's see. I don't have the. Well, she sent the picture of the tracking number, but I I can't run that right now, but it looks like it's going to be here. Looks like her package is going to be here by Friday. There it is, Friday, August the 12th. So I look forward to that. And after she gets here, I'll give her a little time to settle in, and I'm gonna try Spirit Box with her. Probably bring her here on live since we're Abnormal Alabama, and she's an Alabama girl. So that's my little incident. And I think Catherine has was it time for you to share your story?
Sure, I'm ready if you are.
Yeah.
Do you remember a few weeks back I told you I was talking to the ancestors?
The ancestors?
Yes, my ancestors.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
in my dream.
The park.
Okay. Kelsey and I rode down to Florida over the weekend, and we're on our way home, and we're in the middle of nowhere. We took nothing but back roads all the way to and coming back home from close to Destin. I think it was Miramar Beach. Anyway, we're on our way back, and I've got to go to the ladies' room. And we passed this one gas station in the middle of nowhere because it's the only gas station there. And I looked at him, I said, no, there's porta potties out there. We're not going to that one. So we keep driving, and we pull in and to this gas station in the middle of nowhere. And I get out to go use the ladies' room. Do my business in the ladies' room, and the lady that was in the stall beside me finished her business. We both walked out the door at the same time. We both walked up to the sink at the same time, put our hands underneath the soap dispenser at the same time, and we put our hands under the water, and the water wouldn't turn on. So we're like, oh, that's funny, ha ha ha. And we start washing our hands because the water finally comes on, and we're chit-chatting, just small talk that you make in the bathroom. You know how ladies are, if you've ever been to the bathroom with a lady. Anyway, so I said something about, I said, y'all be safe. I said, I've got about 2 hours left. She said, we've got about 8 hours left. And I said, oh, okay, where are you guys from? And she said, Kentucky. I said, okay. And she said, we're from Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I said, okay. I said, my uncle lived there. And she goes, well, I graduated from college up there in Western Kentucky. And I said, oh, really? And she said, yeah. And I said, did you happen to have Carlton Jackson as your history instructor, whatever, professor, whatever? And she turned as white as a ghost. She looked at me and she goes, that's my neighbor.
Yeah.
And the last good sighting of my ancestors was of him. And she knew my uncle. She owned several of his books, signed copies of his books. He's no longer with us. My daughter was born on his wedding anniversary. He loved history, traveled the world, had a story to tell, but he always wanted to listen to your story just as much as everyone else's. He loved to hear everybody's story and to write about those stories. And he did. I couldn't tell you how many books he's got out there. But it was very weird to be in the middle of nowhere in South Alabama and run across someone that not only knew your uncle, but was his neighbor.
Yep.
It's like he was trying to send me a message in my little ancestors dream, and I think I got the message this time.
Oh, okay.
I think I got it, but it was very weird.
Wow.
So what else have you had happen lately?
That was pretty much it, I think. As far as things here, but it got me thinking about. We've done episodes of ghosts and ghost stories, but we haven't had. I don't think we ever focused one on just child ghosts. And I've had some experiences with child ghosts. One right here in Birmingham at the Tutwiler Hotel, and also abroad out in in other states. And I can go ahead and share a story. In fact, since we're at Normal, Alabama, might as well start with the story of the little girl right here. A little creepy little girl. Probably looks just like that a little bit. In fact, her description is a lot like that little girl. Maybe not as terrifying looking, but the little girl who likes to haunt the Tutwiler Hotel in downtown Birmingham. Have you heard of that little girl?
I have.
And we have actually had a little encounter with her. I used to do Birmingham ghost tours, and this was one of our stops, and we did a bus tour. It was the Haunted Birmingham bus tour that Crown Transportation sponsored that and provided the bus, and I got paid to be a tour guide every couple of weeks. There was another one that took turns with him, but at least every couple of weeks I got to go, and I would ride in the bus with a little microphone headset, and I'd talk to the passengers. And we started all the way over on the west side of downtown Birmingham at the Arlington Mansion that has some ghost stories with it. It's the only Annabella mansion left in the Birmingham area that we know of. I'm talking pre-Civil War. Sherman did not touch that house because he used that as his headquarters when he came through here. He was allowed to stop there, and because of that, he told the owner, "We'll spare your house." So he did not burn Arlington. Thankfully, we still have that here. So, but anyway, we used to start there and come across and end at the zoo, Birmingham Zoo and Gardens. But Tutwiler, I hate to be biased, but because of that little girl, Tutwiler's always been my favorite spot. And I need to get there and spend the night, but I have been inside there investigating with Kim Johnston back in the day a little bit. And gosh, that may have been, well, it was about 6 years ago when we went in there, I think. But the story of the little girl who, and I mentioned my tour because a lady, when I was sharing the story about the little girl ghost of Tutwiler, a lady came up to me and said her mother, who was highly sensitive, spent a night or two at the Tutwiler and came into contact with that little girl and believes the little girl's name is Becky. And I remember Becky because I remember thinking Becky like in the Tom Sawyer book. I don't know why Tom Sawyer popped in my head when she told me that, but Becky was the name she had gotten. I don't think the people at Tutwiler knew the little girl's name, who she was, other than she might have been the daughter of a guest. Maybe they stayed there a lot, or she could have been the daughter of an employee. I don't think she was the daughter of Mr. Tutwiler, who built that hotel. That thing was, this structure anyway in the picture was built in the 1920s, but it used to be located on a couple of blocks over. The original structure is gone. It was torn down, but it started, I think, in the late 1800s. So, but this structure has been around since 1920s.
Hey,
And-
Kevin,
Huh?
see what the name Reginald has to do with the Tutwiler.
The name what?
Reginald,
Reginald?
Reggie, something to that nature.
Reginald Tutwiler Hotel. I don't know. But all right. I don't see anything. But anyway, the little girl, as I search this, I'll go ahead and keep talking. The little girl has been spotted several times playing around, mainly on the 6th floor. And yeah, I'm not seeing anything coming up with Reggie and Tutwiler or Tutwiler. It's spelled like Tutwiler, but I think they pronounce it Tutwiler. But anyway, the little girl.
Yes, Tutwiler.
Okay. The little girl's been seen mainly on the 6th floor. And guests have reported that usually in the middle of the morning, the middle of the early morning hours, like 3 o'clock in the morning, they've had a little knock on the door and they go answer it and nobody's there. Sometimes they heard a knock and a giggle, like there's a child knocking, and they go look and there's nobody there. She's been seen down in the hallway that goes from the elevator to the kitchen area down below street level. There's a basement type area where the laundry, kitchen, and all that is down there. And they've seen her running back and forth down that hall, which we investigated that hall too. But the sixth floor, I mean, people on different floors. I've heard people on the fifth floor and the fourth floor have reported getting the knocks on the door and seeing the little girl in the hallway. One traveler really got the ultimate experience when he stayed on the sixth floor. And in fact, I think it's room 604, which they took us into when we investigated, and they claimed is one of the most haunted rooms, if not the most haunted room there. And he stayed in that room, and he got that early morning knock on his door. But instead of the usual nobody's there, when he opened the door, there was a little girl standing there in the hallway. Little girl like that in a little gown, kind of like a nightgown. And she's smiling up at him. She had kind of short blonde hair. And he thought it was just a child who was lost. She looked like a solid, a kid. Nothing, spectral about her. So he's still sleepy. This knock on the door has woken him up, and he says, "Are you looking for somebody?" And she says, are my mommy and daddy in here? He says, "No, I think you've got the wrong room." And she grins real big and giggles at him, and she turns and skips off down the hall. And as he watches her, as she skips further away, she fades and fades and fades until she's completely gone. So according to the manager there who's telling us about this, she said he didn't call downstairs like some people have. He just showed up in his pajamas, suitcase in hand, at the guest desk downstairs, handed over his key, and said, "I'm gone. I've had enough." And he hit the door, and he has not been seen there since. So there was also a young man, and this little girl has not just been seen in the hotel. She has been seen outside of the hotel, because there was a young man who was driving home one night, and he stopped for a red light right there at the intersection next to the Tutwiler, and he had a sunroof in his car. And he kind of kicked back there waiting on the light to change. And those of us who live here near downtown Birmingham or have been there, we know those stinking lights take forever to change downtown. So he's sitting there, and he happens to look up through the sky roof toward the top of that hotel, and looking down over the edge of the roof is a little girl. Well, he panics. So he's watching her, and he's like, "What the crap?" She's just standing there looking down like she's watching traffic. And he calls on his cell phone to the front desk, and he says, I don't want to panic it. Okay, my cat ball just went off here next to me finally. But he says, "I don't want to panic anybody, but there's a little girl on your roof looking down at me. I'm outside your hotel right now, so you might want to send somebody upstairs." Well, of course, a couple of employees and security, they grab the keys. They take off upstairs as fast as they can. You can't get on the roof without a key because it stays locked, and only the employees have the keys. So they're wondering how in the crap this little girl got up there. So they get to the roof, and they check it out all over. They search all up and down around any hiding spaces they can find, and they do not find any little girl.
Okay, I figured out what I was hearing, Kevin.
Okay.
I just did a little research. I said Reginald, Reggie, something to that nature. It used to be right there a apartment building called Ridgely.
Oh, okay.
So there's a possibility that this young lady died at the apartment buildings, but wound up there.
Okay.
That's how I'm putting what I can actually find.
Well, as I was telling that story, this cat ball went off twice. Oh, there it goes again.
Am I correct? Are you from the apartment building? Man, I need to go.
Look at that.
Go off again?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. This is interesting.
So have I got the little girl from Tutwiler? Are you here visiting me? It's still going. It's not. Oh, there it goes.
Are you the little girl from Tutwiler? Did you say that, Kelsey?
Yeah, ring the bell. Ring the bell. You've been making that light go off.
Yeah,
Right.
I've got.
If you're connected to the Tutwiler, you were either at the Tutwiler, knew somebody at the Tutwiler. Maybe you and the little girl spent the night in the Tutwiler. Maybe the little girl died at the Tutwiler. Ring that bell.
And this bell is from a hotel, so you probably saw one a lot like it. And
Catherine, it was really going off while you're talking, so I'm going to let you keep talking.
Okay. I need the ghost box on, Kevin. Turn your ghost box back on.
okay, well let's let's do this. Let's see.
Give him.
Do you want to talk?
And I don't know why, but you got an echo, Catherine, when you're talking.
Hold on. Let me go close the door.
That is weird. You're echoing. Okay, so I now have this. We call it a spirit box. This little flat thing laying here in front of me. Oh, look at that! There goes the cat ball again. You keep playing with that if you want to. That's fine. But I was going to tell you, you can talk through this and we can hear you.
Hello? Oh,
Yeah, it keeps going off.
Going off. Okay, did you have a cat? Or do you just like the glowy light? Do you have the volume turned all the way up, Kevin?
Yeah, it's all the way up here.
Check your audio set because with me totally off, door closed, blah, 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 you're still echoing.
Okay.
Yeah, my volume's up. And the cat ball is still going. There you go.
Okay. So, Kevin, I think next week we need to go and visit this young lady and find out who she is. Is your name Becky?
It said wood on the ghost box.
Do you want us to come see you at the hotel?
Is she related to that Reginald? Any connection?
No. Sometimes when I read and I hear things, like you don't hear all the syllables that something might say to you, and you have to kind of push it on and, make it like I heard Reg.
Yeah.
Reg. So I'm thinking, okay, about that time an error was probably a Reginald, but I mean, just a simple Google search, and I was like, Reginald to Tutwiler, and it came back with Ridgely or something to that.
Ridgely Apartments.
So I don't always get the complete words that come through, but I get enough to figure out what it's saying.
Okay, she just tried to say something on the spirit box. Can you say that again? Oh, there goes the spirit ball. The cat ball. Boy, she loves that cat ball.
That's the most activity we've had with that cat ball at one time and forever. Please tell us your name, baby.
Sound like are you serious? Yeah, we're serious. We want to know who's playing with the cat ball. I was talking about the ghost at the little girl at Tutwiler Hotel, and then this cat ball starts going off. So I don't know if that was a coincidence or if maybe that's maybe Peggy was finally learned how to play, or is that Becky or whatever her name is at the Tutwiler?
That's her name.
Hey, Becky. Yeah, well, that started back up again.
Do you like Becky or do you like Rebecca?
Becky. Well, there it goes again. Becky. I'm so happy you're here visiting me. We may not have to go to the Tutwiler and see her. She's right here.
She's right there. Can
Did you
talk
come?
to us, Betty?
Hey, I'm happy you're here.
You can get energy off of that box that's right there in front of you, in front of the ball. You can place your hand on it and use it to talk through.
She's right there just staring at this camera. I got a visual of her just looking intensely at this camera. She wants us to see her, but it's just kind of difficult. You know what else you can do? Oh, well, you're still playing with that ball.
Did you see her?
I see the ball. Did you see something else? Because it's still going off.
She may either be shy or not strong enough to talk through the box.
Well, if it's Tutwiler Becky, she's not shy knocking on people's doors, and she might just not have the energy to talk.
Because she's come a long way to be in Chelsea, Alabama.
Yeah. God, look at that. It's just still going.
Kevin,
it tries to go off and it comes back on.
Kevin, can you point that down? Keep the ball in the picture, but point down to your hallway, up to your hallway. I want to keep the ball in the picture though. I want to see her come back up again. She's continuing to make that thing go off.
Yeah, look at it. I've never seen it just keep going and going. Look at it. Wow. I absolutely love that you're here with me right now. Look at it, just keeps going off. Thank you, Becky.
This is an amazing. Amazing.
I just heard it sound like she said hungry. Are you hungry? She said, yep, look at there. I heard little girls will say hungry.
How about if we ask yes or no questions, and if the answer is yes, you light the ball up?
Yeah, you want to do that? If the answer is yes, you can light the ball up. Well, there we go.
Are you between the ages of 3 and 5? That would be yes. Okay, are you 6 years old? Are you 6 years old? I'm going to take that as no. Are you? Are you 5? She's 5. She's not 6 yet.
And then when
Well, she's trying to talk on that spirit box.
You can do it, baby. Yes, she is. Did you live in the?
She's enjoying that ball.
Loving this ball. And sometimes when you see it blink, you can see a shadow in that blink. Yes, yes, yes.
Is that you who knocks on the doors at the Tutwiler?
It must not be her that knocks on the door.
they start
So finally, when they start, I don't know what that meant.
Are other ghosts knocking on the doors?
Ah,
Okay, Kevin, we've got to get some of those other lights, those bullet lights.
yeah, those should be. There's a bullet light coming with. Uh, it's coming with. Gosh, Clara, the doll that's on its way to me.
Do you see? Do you see the shadow? It's like its little. It's like its little hand is reaching up.
Is it near the ball or?
It's on. It's on the edge of the blanket, and it just looks. It just looks. It's like a little kid's hand and little bitty top of the head's coming up. I'm not seeing it every single time, but I'm seeing it a lot.
Yeah, I'm seeing little shapes in there when the lights flashing like that. I mean, look at that; it just keeps going.
I'm going to say that Becky is about 5 years old because she answered yes to that.
Catherine definitely has some kind of a connection there with that doll, because it started that when Catherine started talking to the doll.
Well, it did it twice. Well, we're talking about the ghost at Tutwiler, and I did it twice in the middle of me talking about it. And I think this is the little girl from Tutwiler. Yep,
So
she's still lighting it up.
what's the doll's name?
No, not that it's not a doll. It's the little girl from Tutwiler. We're not on the doll. We're doing the little girl from Tutwiler that's come in through our story, and it has been making this cat doll go off non-stop. We've been asking yes or no questions, and we told it to respond with yes, and did it agree? And it responded yes with the light of the doll.
Where did this entity come from? What's it connected to that would be talking to us tonight?
Well, you know what, Kevin? Where did the hotel bell come from?
I don't think I don't know. I just bought that just to have off of eBay, and ball's still going. And I didn't say what hotel.
But where did it? What
It
part
didn't
of the
come.
country? What part of the
You know
country?
what? I can't remember. It wasn't here in Alabama. It came from I can't remember which state.
Chances are it did not come from Tutwiler.
Probably not because it didn't come. Yeah, it was away from here. I'm trying to remember. Was it Missouri or somewhere it came from?
Missouri.
But I mean, I think she tried. I mean, ghosts have a funny way when they hear you talking about them. Sometimes they show up and right.
Well, that's it. Whoever and whatever, maybe they spent the night at the Tutwiler at some point.
Well, I think this is little Becky because she was answering. She answered yes to 5. She did not answer positive to is she knocking on the doors at Tutwiler, but when Catherine asked is it other ghosts, she answered yes. And she's still lighting that ball up.
You know what? I'm just going to do this and ask her a couple of questions. But I want to see if this ball answers the questions correctly.
Look at it, still going. I've never had this happen before.
Are you from the 1914, early 20s? Did you live in the apartments?
I'd say that's a yes.
I'm gonna let it stop, and I got a next question.
Yep. The little girl is known to be a prankster, so she might keep this ball going to.
Do you know Major Tutwiler? Is Major Tutwiler the one that knocks on the doors?
Yep. Yeah, he's before her time, I know,
But do you turn the lights on and off? What about the stove? Do you turn the stove on and off? Not her.
I heard some kind of noise through the spirit box, like somebody huffing. Nope, there goes that ball.
It's a very active ball tonight.
This is the most activity I've seen anytime I've ever used a cat ball. And you saw how difficult I had trying to get it to light up. I had to tap it several times. Okay.
You hadn't had to type it any time tonight, have you?
Yeah, earlier tonight when I was showing it, I had to tap it.
So this activity didn't start until you started talking about the Tutwiler.
Yeah, right in the middle of the talking about the little girl appearing on the roof and scared the guest when she knocked on his door and she was standing outside.
Do you know George Gordon Crawford? Or Robert Jemison?
Or Catherine Marie?
I'm going through the history of the Tutwiler to see if I can bring any names that might connect us to this spirit.
Hey, look at that. Look at it.
It said yes. Okay. All right. We're going to, as soon as the ball stops, Harvey G. Woodward. I had read the name before it started going off. So we're going to try again with this Harvey G. Woodward. Harvey G. Woodward. Okay. I'm going to go research Harvey G. Woodward right now to see if I can find anything about him. And of course, there's nothing on here.
Becky, do you remember me when I was at the hotel?
Are we okay?
Nope.
Notice how quiet the box has been.
Yeah. I mean, it was just talking as soon as that thing lit up just now. Well, I'm going to ask a question, but she wants to keep playing. Something we found out that night I want to ask about. Okay. Whoop, you started playing again. She just spoke. She said something
Something ball.
You just want to play with the ball? Okay, here we go. Wanda, who was really sensitive and was with our group that night, kept getting, well, you just want to play, don't you? If I could, I would just hug you because you were just so cute. Okay. So Wanda was drawn to those that, you know what I'm going to ask, don't you?
I know. She's answered before we can even get it out.
In the spirit world, they know what you're going to say before you say it.
Wanda kept getting, well, you just know.
Are
Don't
you
you?
are you banging on that table or something? Kicking it?
No, I'm not banging on the table.
Is your cat over there playing?
If I banged on the table, you could see that my cat is not in this room. She's outside the door. It's closed.
And who's the doll standing there now?
That's Peggy, but she was not using this ball when I could not get.
Peggy, is that you interfering now?
It's
No, this is the Tutwiler girl.
No, because I just asked and it lit up.
It was already lit up.
this.
Okay.
Becky is playful, so she's gonna light this sucker up. Yeah, look at that.
Has that ball ever lit up this much ever?
No,
Is Kevin going to have a hard time sleeping tonight because of an evil presence in his house?
no, I'm not gonna have it.
Is there a possession? Should we perform an exorcism at Kevin's house? Oh, yeah, sure should.
Is there a silly old man named Kelsey right there causing problems?
Is there? Is Kevin really a wolf in sheepskins?
Why are you asking? Is
Yeah.
there a reason
Yeah.
Kelsey keeps asking these questions? Yeah, because she's
Are
playing
you-
right now.
Are you trying to get away from Kevin because he's evil?
Yeah, y'all
Look
said
at it! Look at it! Look at it!
we can never conduct a serious investigation.
Oh,
around
this is
him.
very serious. I think that he's got these dolls trapped in his house
I do not have them trapped in my
like a prison and an evil
no.
center.
Okay, Becky, I got a question for you. Stop the ball. Thank you. Stop the ball so you can answer yes or no, please.
Catherine, she says, "Screw you."
She is not.
Do you know Rebecca England, who is the manager of the Tutwiler now?
Find out previous managers.
Do you know Rebecca? I think that's who was there with us that night.
It's Rebecca England,
Of Sunnybrook Farms.
or she may be called Becca. Somebody's screen just flashed. Who was it? It wasn't the ball lighting up, but it was the whole screen flashed.
I don't know. Wanda, when she was there with us that night, she kept getting drawn to that little storage closet under the stairs, and up there it goes lighting up. She believed that little girl, for some reason, had been locked in that closet for punishment or something.
Hmm.
Oh, did you hear that on the spirit box? A guy went, puh.
I think it was more of a game of hide and go seek.
Hide and go seek. Is that it?
And maybe the door got stuck and she got scared.
Oh, is that it?
Did you play hide and go seek? Did the door get stuck?
That ball is just not giving up. I'm surprised the battery hadn't gone dead.
Were you scared? But you managed to get out okay, didn't you?
What?
Let's say an hour.
Did you stay in there a whole hour?
Hmm.
Were there people looking for you that were not playing the game? Did someone find you?
What?
Not sure what that said.
I think it said closet.
Closet? No.
What's Kevin hiding in his closet?
Oh, see, he's always got to turn things back on me.
No, it's talking about Kevin. It's in your house.
It's talking about the Tutwiler in the little closet under the stairs.
Pay attention.
Hey, and speaking of closets, I didn't get, because the cat ball started going off, I didn't get to that part of the story of Tutwiler. While we were there, my sister was there investigating with us, and we went in room 604 where little Miss Becky has knocked on the door. And we had the spirit box going, and we had several people in there with us. And if I recall, because she spoke on that spirit box, and she said, "He's here," or something like that. And the closet door eased open by itself, where my sister was standing, and a cold gust of air blew out on her, across her legs. And she took off outside the room and down the hallway. She could not stay in the room with us. But she said it was around, like it was low, like it brushed past her legs. Was that you? Maybe you came running out of the closet? So it was somebody else in the closet?
I'm thinking it's the Major Tutwiler.
So Major Tutwiler came out of the closet?
Kevin, it's you. There was a flash of light to the right just a few seconds before that ball went off.
That sounds like a man's voice. But is that Major Tutwiler we're hearing on the spirit box?
Just don't quit. And that's the dangerous thing. I've never personally witnessed this ball go off so frequently. So you sure there's no vibration in there?
No, I'm sitting still here.
I know you are, but y'all had an earthquake going over there?
The cat is not in here. This table is not moving.
So you don't feel any vibrations?
No, anywhere. I feel no vibration.
We're getting.
Lay your hand flat on that table just to make sure you don't feel something reverberating. That's just insane.
We're getting intelligent responses from this ball.
I mean, it's like somebody just responded to you on the spirit box.
Do you feel anything?
No, I don't feel anything. I'm going to take my hand back off.
So this was doing that before you set your phone there, right?
Yes.
Yes, I asked it a question and it went off.
In fact, I can move the phone over here.
I'm not suggesting, but you got to go through a process of elimination.
I see the thing with when earlier tonight in the first half hour, see it's still going. I had to pick that thing up and tap it. Catherine saw me. I had to tap it, didn't I? And shake it in my hand to get it to go off. And I said,
you woke up an evil presence.
That's not evil. It's a little girl who I'm so happy is here.
To the right of the bell. She is to the right of the bell.
She's to the right of the bell.
She is to the right of the bell.
Are you dodging around over there? She's so playful.
I see her shadow.
So we're identifying this entity as a little girl associated with Tutwiler, whose name is Becky.
Yeah, that was the name that was given me. For some reason, Mary came up in my head earlier.
Rebecca or Becky, was your mother's name Mary, or did you have a sister named Mary? What?
It said ask something.
I did ask. What? Was your mother's name Mary?
No, it's her best friend.
Ah, so it lit up quick then. So was Mary your good friend, your playmate friend? That's crazy. That ball has not stopped for how long now? An hour?
We're already at 8:25.
Yeah.
Let it stop again.
The ball's not moving. It's not rolling. It's laying on a cloth of some sort on some kind of table. He moved his phone from the table. He laid his hand there, does not feel any vibrations. I assume that your air conditioner is not making a rumbling anything.
No, it's. I mean, the air's been on, but there's no vibration from the from the vent.
Your dad's not in there doing karaoke.
Nope.
Becky, did you and Mary hide under the beds? Did you try
Becky,
to
did you have a pet cat? Maybe she had a pet cat named Mary.
No, it's her best friend. They played together all the time.
Oh, she
Oh,
quit.
there's an orb back there, Kevin.
A little orb.
Yep. It was a tiny one.
Oh, there it goes. We had an employee of ours came from Chicago, one of the head honchos in Kemper, well, where I work, and she flew out here from Chicago, and our human resources department put her up in the Tutwiler because our downtown office is just a few blocks from the Tutwiler. And she came in and told our HR lady, and of course the HR lady came and hunted me up so she could tell me she was so excited. But she told our HR lady that morning, broad daylight, she had gotten a shower and she was drying her hair. And she, you know how, and Catherine, you probably don't know how women with long hair, they bend over and let their hair kind of hang down so they can blow dry it and brush it.
Yes.
So she was bent over with her hair down. And she thought she heard the door open and she thought, well, that must be housekeeping. But she looked up and there was nothing. The door was not open. So she bent back down and she kept blowing her hair. And all of a sudden, because she was bent down low, she was at child level. Right in her ear, she heard a little girl say, "Hi." And she shot up and looked, and there was nobody there. So she was, needless to say, she was very unnerved. She got her stuff packed. She was going to be leaving that afternoon anyway. But there was one of those old vintage footstools was at the end of the bed. And it was sitting there. She had been using it to put her bag on. She picked it up, moved it, and went to the bathroom. Came back out, and that footrest had moved from the foot of the bed all the way over to the middle of the room. So she got out of there pretty quick, and she went to the HR office and told the lady there, she said, when I come back, don't you ever put me back in the tow hopper.
Well, I have noticed that she stopped. That's the lengthiest time she hasn't lit up the ball.
Samuel's in there.
Huh?
Samuel's in there, Kevin.
Samuel?
There's a Samuel in there.
I don't know. I think the spirit has left. The ball's gone totally quiet now.
Are you still here, Becky?
Right during that story, it stopped. It never came back. I think Kevin scared it away with that story for some reason.
I did not. She probably
not intentionally. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying, but something about that story scared the spirit away.
That right there probably scared her away.
Now who's acting silly?
That's right. Now you've calmed him.
But look, I mean, it has not. Since you started telling that story, it stopped, and it's the lengthiest time that it's not gone off.
Becky, are you here?
Oh, did she go back home?
Samuel, are you here?
What did that say?
Sound like It sounded like a little girl trying to say something. It was very, very weak, so I couldn't tell.
It's gone now.
No,
All that time,
Oh.
now that is just fascinating as heck that ball lit up so much, so frequently for all that period of time, and now it completely stopped while he told that story.
She said something, I didn't quite catch. It sounded like she giggled and said something. Well, you can at least come back and visit me some more.
Well, Kevin, do an experiment. Tap the ball, see if you see it light up. Maybe the battery went dead.
No, there. See how I had to tap it?
Do you see how hard he had to tap that ball
Yep.
to make it work?
Yep.
Little Becky was lighting it up. Look at that. It's just.
She's gone now. Say good night, baby.
Oh, well, I hope she comes back to visit me because I sure love that.
We're going to Tutwiler, Kevin.
I'll say this. Yeah, I'm going to rest my hand since the light's gone back out. I will say this: they don't like to be known as a haunted place. They wouldn't allow us to post anything on our social media, but I don't think they're going to care. It's still off. I don't think they're going to care if we just kind of slide in there and walk around.
If you go and you rent a room and you video anything in the public areas or in your room, they can object all they want to, but they can't stop you from posting it.
I have thought for a while now about going and visiting, renting a room for a night or two.
Yep.
And see what happens.
Room 604.
604, if I'm not mistaken, is the room where there's been a lot of activity and it's not come back on. This is, man.
And it did it until you started that last part of the story. That's when you went back to that story, it stopped. Never came back. I watched it the whole time you were talking. It's like, hey, it's gone.
I'm gonna cut the box off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Here we go.
It amazes me how long that ball went off. I mean,
and it's not coming back on. And you saw how hard I had to tap it to get it to. I am impressed.
We were asking intelligent questions, yes or no questions that it was responding to intelligently. Or she was. We'll call it her.
I think it was her. I have a strong because I could see her. Well, she was staring at camera and she wanted to appear, but she was just not getting the energy to do it. Probably from the long travel. Well, I think I just got visited by a little Tutwiler.
Well, I was seeing her shadow. It wasn't very it wasn't like that, like you would see my shadow.
Yeah.
But I was seeing her shadow, like top of her head and her hand, a little hand.
Yeah, that was just. I'm flabbergasted. It's not going off now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abnormal Alabama. There's Lady Cat Marie, and right up above me in the other cowboy hat is a man called Flabbergasted. And, this has been an amazing night. Took up a good hour of a cat ball just deciding it's going to take over the show, and did. And then all of a sudden, Kevin got the bright idea that, well, I never got to finish this story, so screw you, cat ball. I'm going to finish this story. And the cat ball had an attitude and said, well, you finish the story. I'm going home.
I didn't say that. I just thought maybe little Peggy was playing with it, but she was not able to do it when we had her on.
Yeah, Tutwiler girl, whatever that entity was, you may be wrong. It could be a guy. Who knows what it is? Y'all are guessing.
It was her. I'm not guessing. I could feel her, and it just like
she was doing that. You don't need to be feeling these little girls.
Oh, that ain't what I meant, you old pervert.
When Kevin and I get together, and we're both on the same level of wavelength that we're doing, we can get some of the most amazing responses. Have you ever noticed that, Kevin?
Yeah.
We're the only ones that got the knocks out of that little girl's little grave house down there.
Uh-huh.
Can we do Danny next week?
Huh?
Can we do Danny next week?
Do what?
The doll Danny.
Oh, Danny, automated
Yes.
animatronic, the animatronic
The
dog.
animatronic.
Where's that one?
He's in there in the den. I can get back there and get him out and bring him. I hope I keep forgetting. He got those batteries in him. I hope they didn't get corroded, but I don't think they did.
The balls never lit back up. You watch it.
It's dead silent.
Yeah. Well, you sent her to bed. You said go back to Tutwiler with her.
I didn't say that. I wanted to
No,
come.
that's what they felt. I mean, you started that story and she left. She said,
Well, it was a good story. I mean, that was when that HR lady hunted me up and told me about that. That I got a kick out of that.
I think that little entity that was playing the cat ball does not like that whomever at Tutwiler. You started mentioning her and scared her away.
Should I tell another story? Because
Well, yeah, and watch that cat ball. I mean, who knows?
yeah.
Or tell another Birmingham story. Do you have anything else from Birmingham or the Alabama area?
As far as child goes, yeah, there's that at the lake, East Lake. What was her name?
We did we went out there, and that little entity out there screwed with our car at the lake.
I remember.
Huh?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Borrowed that vehicle, and I thought we were going to have to get a tow truck or something.
Her
But,
name is May Halls, the East Lake girl.
The end of it was, I believe, her dad was the perpetrator.
Yeah, it says here, little May, who was betrayed by her father and drowned in these waters.
Yep.
Candles are usually lit on December 4th, the day when the lake gave up her body to be discovered.
And I do believe that, correct me if I'm wrong, if this is the same story or not, but that they did arrest him eventually, and that the town broke him out of jail and killed him.
Were their siblings also drowned in that lake?
I'm sorry?
Was there a set of siblings that was drowned in that lake?
Yeah, or let him. He's looking at it.
It just mentions the girl. It says on Halloween's Eve.
Okay, you're looking at. I'm going to get the hall. What's the hall?
Here it is. The May Halls, who was murdered and cast into the neighborhood East Lake in the winter of 1888. She is said to still be looking for her mother Emma and sister Irene, who were also murdered and placed into the Lakeview waterway that has since been drained and turned into the Highland Park golf course.
I thought she had a sibling.
So she did have her mother, and her sister Irene were murdered by her father as well, I guess.
He had divorced his wife. There was a lot of crap going on at that moment.
A lot of crap, you say?
And it was December 4th, 1888. Her little body was found floating in the East Lake.
I gotta tell you, of all the ghosts, those little girl ghosts are my favorite. They and they tend to, whenever I go to a place, if there's a little girl or multiple little girl ghosts, they come around me. So that when I taught children's church and children's classes at church, it was always the little girls would come up to me, want me to tell them stories, and they want to give hugs. And I guess the little spirit girls are that way too. And I had some attention from a little girl ghost at this. I'm going to put a picture up here. This Rice Hope Plantation in South Carolina has a little girl ghost they call Mistress Chicken. And I wondered what kind of goofy name, what in the world kind of nickname that was. But they said that was her married name, was Chicken. She lived to be an elderly woman, but then when she came back as a ghost, she was a little girl. And they say it's because she missed out on a lot of years of her childhood because when she was a little bitty girl, and this was back in the 1700s, they had a rice plantation there, and that home was built. And you can still see part of the rice plants out there in the water at the creek bank there, the river bank. And she was a playful little girl, loved to run up and down the river. She had a pet turtle she would take with her. Her father died and her mother remarried. Well, the stepfather didn't really like the little girl. And he sent her to a school, sort of like a boarding school of that time for little girls that was located not too far from where they lived. The headmaster was an evil man. He would punish those kids if they looked at him the wrong way. He would give them a whipping with the stick. Well, Mistress Chicken grew very homesick, and he would catch her daydreaming at her desk. So he rapped on her desk, popped her on the arm. Eventually, he got tired of it. He said, "If outside is what you want, then outside you shall have." So he dragged her out of the school. After school let out, he dragged her to the cemetery that's located probably 3 or 4 blocks from this house. It's still there. He tied her to a tombstone there, one of the tall tombstones, and said, "You can sit right here all night tonight and think about what you've done." Now, this child was not even 10 years old yet, and here's this teacher tying her to a tombstone in the middle of the cemetery. So needless to say, she was frightened to death. And meanwhile, back home, word got to her parents that something had happened. I think the headmaster had told them. Well, one of the servants overheard, and he really loved that little girl, so he went to check on her. And he went out there into the cemetery. Well, she's still tied to that chair, and she sees his torch coming through the light, the light from the torch coming through the woods. Now, he had carved out a jack-o'-lantern, or carved out a pumpkin like a jack-o'-lantern, to use as a lantern. He stuck it up on a pole. So when she sees this flaming thing coming through the woods, she thinks it's a ghost, and she fainted dead away. So when he gets to her, she's already fainted. He unties her. He rushes back home with her. She's in shock the rest of the night, and they said for many days, and even years, she would not come out of her room until she became a teenager, and they finally were able to get her out. She started getting to be more normal. She got married to Mr. Chicken. She outlived him. She came back to Rice Hope and lived there the rest of her days. And she died, and then people started seeing her ghost in the house, but it was her as a child. And they said they believe she chose to come back as a child because she wanted to have that childhood that she lost because of the misdeed done to her. Now, when I was there, when me and my brother went down, this is near South Carolina, near Charleston, probably about a 30-minute drive. And we went down there. My Pawpaw Cane, his destroyer from World War II, is parked out there in Patriots Point. You can tour it. So we went there to tour it for the first time, and we stayed here at Rice Hope because I knew about the ghost story. My brother, late at night, we would try to do little voice recordings and things, and he was out in the hallway going up and down with the K2 meter. And this was around 2005, by the way, so I was still early in my technical investigating years, so I didn't have much equipment other than a K2 meter and the voice recorder. So he's going up and down the hallway, and he said he kept seeing a little figure behind him out of the corner of his eye. When he turned around and looked, she was gone. Well, that night, I'm laying there in bed, and I'm so excited I can't get to sleep. But I'm laying there trying to sleep. I'm not scared. I'm excited, wondering if this little girl is going to come through the bedroom because she'd been seen in that room. And as I'm laying there and I pull the covers up, I start feeling like I'm being watched. I hear little footsteps come up next to my bed. And nowadays, I wouldn't be afraid to sit up and look and start talking. But back then, I was still a little jumpy about being an investigator. And I just refused to pull the covers down. I kept the covers pulled up, and I felt like somebody was leaning over the bed looking at me. And all of a sudden, I hear a little girl's voice cluck like a chicken right above my head. And that was Mistress Chicken letting me know she was there. I don't know if I could go back in time, I would have pulled that cover down to look at her and say hi. But I was, at the time, I was only 20 something, early 20s. I was a little bit shook. But I fell asleep. I drifted off to sleep. And the next morning, I woke up and sat up just in time to see a little girl's figure walking away from the bed and disappear into the wall. So she must have stayed there all night watching me sleep. So that house was a bed and breakfast at the time, but the lady who owned it, I think she might have passed away, and her sons who were taking care of it have moved on. So somebody bought it and it's no longer open. It's a private home. Man, I hope they turn that into a bed and breakfast again, because I'd love to go back and visit Mistress Chicken. So that's another little girl ghost I've had contact with. Oh, I forgot. Another thing that happened was I was taking pictures around the house, and when I got home, I downloaded the pictures from the digital camera. And in one of the pictures, I always like to take a picture looking at the mirror, because you never know what might show up in the mirror's reflection in the picture. Well, in the picture behind me, there's a little hazy figure standing there, the height of a child, and I get excited. And then all of a sudden, my computer crashed. And when I tried to pull it back up, and I'd already downloaded off the camera and deleted the camera pictures, by the time I got that pulled up, that file had been erased. So apparently Mistress Chicken did not want me to have her picture. So, but I felt like she did appreciate me being a guest there, and I wish I'd gone back before they stopped running the bed and breakfast there. Can't think of the lady's name. I spoke to her. I know she's probably passed away since then, because she was in her early 70s then. And her sons lived there on the property in the cabin next door, or one of the sons lived there, and he would come over and cook breakfast for us. It was a beautiful house, and you had the whole house to to roam around in. They stayed in their cabin, and he had these wonderful animals. I think he had a llama there. I remember taking a picture of. But all right, let's see. It's 8:47. Anybody else want to tell a little child ghost story?
Have I ever told you about the one of a friend of mine when I was a kid, about 5 or 6 years old, that passed away?
Nope.
We were best friends. There were 3 of us, well, 4 of us. I'll count Brad too. Anyway, we were at daycare one day, and Courtney didn't show up. Well, we found out that Courtney later passed away. I'm sorry, Lindsay. Courtney is Lindsay's brother. Lindsay passed away, and Courtney was still alive. Lindsay came into daycare. His brother was not there because his brother's legs were broken and his mom was in the hospital. They had a bad car wreck and Lindsay passed away. And Lindsay showed up every single day to daycare. We were playing with Lindsay. He was there. Matt, Brad, Lindsay, and I were playing. And he was sad. He was sad, and then when his brother got to come back to daycare, still in his cast, Lindsay disappeared. I guess he went home with his mom. But I can remember the memories of. I know he was not there, but he was there. We had this. I don't know if you remember those old wooden boats that there would be like a triangle almost that you could walk up on stairs on one side, and if you flipped it over, you could rock it back and forth.
Yeah.
There were many a times that that was our favorite toy. That was all of our favorite toy. There were many a times that boat would just start rocking for no reason. And the adults could not see him there, but us as children could still see him.
Wow.
And that was at Brookwood Baptist Church in Mountain Brook.
Wowza. You know, the first, and I've told this before, but it bears repeating tonight, the first ghost I ever encountered that I remember, the first full body ghost I ever saw. I meant to show this other cool ghost girl photo from Google. Here we go. I'll put that up there while I'm talking. The first solid apparition I ever saw was a child, and that was when I was about 4 years old. It's one of the few memories that's still in my head because of what happened. I'm just never going to forget it. It's when I went with my godmother one summer. School was out, and my godmother was a kindergarten teacher. And usually I would stay with my grandmother while my parents were at work. But my godmother had to take care of me that day because my grandmother was ill. So just for that day, I went to stay with my godmother, and we were at her house for half the day, or at least the morning. But she had to go in for an hour or two at the school to do some teacher work. So she had to take me with her. But she was a kindergarten teacher, so of course she has a classroom full of toys. So she thought, well, and she told me, I'll just take you with me and you can play with the toys while I do my work, and then we'll come home. So we get to the school, we go into her classroom, and across the room toward the back, there's a little girl sitting back there who looks up at us when we come in, and she's playing with the toys. And Bunny points over toward the toy area and says, you go there and play, and I'll come back after I'm done. I got to go to the workroom. So she leaves, and I was really bashful as a kid back then when it came to other strange children. I didn't know. I had to ease, up to them and be around them a little bit before I started opening up. But she kept looking she was sitting behind this toy castle, one of those play school castles. Had it open, and she was playing with it. She kept looking at me over. She kept giggling and smiling, and I was inching my way back there. And I remember she had shoulder length dark hair, and she's sitting there giggling and watching me, and I'm coming closer. When I almost get to her, she hops up and cackles and takes off running out the door. So I hurry to the door and look, and down the hall, she runs down to the hall and kind of gets to the end of the hall, looks left and right, and then she rushes to the left and disappears around what I thought was the corner of the hall down there. Well, like any other 4-year-old, here I am by myself. This child has taken off and left me. Nobody's there. I feel abandoned. What did I start doing? I start crying, just bawling out loud. And my godmother down the hallway hears me from the workroom and comes running. And another teacher was down there with her, and she comes running too. Well, Bunny asked me, what's wrong? What happened? I said, well, the little girl left me. She said, what? I said, the little girl ran. She ran away and left me. And Bunny looked at the teacher and said, did you have a child here? She said, no. And I was confused. I said, she went down. And they had said, where did she go? I said, down the hall, and went down there around the corner. And Bunny said, there's no corner down there. There's a closet that's closed and locked. But there's not any other hallway down there. So that means this child, when she turned left and disappeared, she disappeared through a closed closet door. So what I had seen was a ghost. And I found out later that there was indeed, in the early 70s, there was a little girl playing on the school's playground who fell accidentally either from the swing or from that monkey gym thing. She fell and broke her neck and died. And people had claimed they'd seen her ghost in that school. Well, I saw her ghost, so that story is true. But that was the first time I had seen that I remember, that I had seen a solid apparition. and it was a child ghost, a little girl. And by the way, this cat ball has not gone off. It is still. Oh, you're on mute, Kelsey.
You told that story, and whatever entity that was said, "I'm out of here."
I don't know.
Genuinely left. I mean, you can't
Said,
deny
"Oh,
it.
I've been caught. I better get out of here and run."
No, it's like, no, there's Kevin. He's mean. I'm leaving.
Ah, that's bullshit.
Ooh, Kevin cuss. I always get so tickled when Kevin cusses or something.
Gosh, that you run us right up to 6 minutes before 5 minutes before.
Yeah. And I didn't do any. I didn't do any shameless plugs. I don't know what in the world I could advertise here. Look at that up there on the screen. I don't know what I can advertise. Look at that, myhauntedDolls.com. So everybody watching, go to myhauntedDolls.com. Buy my books. Bye. Where's my newest book? Let's see. There's My Haunted Collection, The Dark Side. And my newest book, Dark Awakening and Other Tales for a Midnight Hour. So there's my shameless plug before we go. We got 4 minutes left. What are we going to do those 4 minutes?
Well, let's see. You hadn't talked about Dating the Dead, have you?
I know. I thought, let's see. Well, you talked about the
Wishing Machine.
There you go. Dating the Dead. And Spectrophilia.
God.
The Spectro is going to fill you up.
Oh gosh, that you are nasty.
All the dirty stuff you said, you're going to dare to say that I'm.
Okay, I got some news to announce.
Got some news to announce.
Yeah. Can I announce my news now?
Yeah.
Okay. We have wishing machines, correct?
Yep.
We have been building wishing machines and shipping them all over the world. Germany, Italy, you name it. They've gone everywhere. I got my hands on today an Addison Cube.
And
That
Addison.
is going to be the ultimate. It's going to be part of the ultimate radionics wishing machine.
Oh. Radionics.
That's what a wishing machine is. It works on radionics.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is going to be the ultimate wishing machine.
Ultimate.
Huh?
I said ultimate. Yeah.
Ultimate. It's going to be so powerful that I'm going to be able to put someone that can't afford to buy a wishing machine, their wish onto this wishing machine.
Catherine, I've trained her on radionics and the wishing machine, so she can. So I go into retirement. That's the bottom line. I'm too old to work. I should not have to work at my age, with my education, with all this wonderful stuff about me. Should I be working? And by the way, I just finished up another book I just submitted to hopefully be published here real quick. 147 pages long. And it's a book that Catherine needs to read for sure. So,
Okay, if you guys have noticed, my name has changed. I did not want the title of doctor. I took Lady Cat Marie.
Lady Cat Marie.
Yes.
But
thewishdr.com. And soon you will find a place where you can put your intention on the wishing machine. And I am going to get it built. I'm so excited.
She's becoming a TikTok queen bee.
TikTok Queen Bee.
Queen bee. So,
all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next Tuesday night. And we may have some adventures to talk about between now and then if I can get 5 minutes away from. I was supposed to be taking July off. That did not happen. We just never-ending weddings. Supposed to be taking August off since I didn't take July off. And guess what? Got 2 meetings tomorrow. Got a meeting on Thursday. So
last weekend.
When you're popular, you just can't quit. You know, it's like thank you very much.
Gosh. So when you die, we're gonna have sightings of Kelsey at McDonald's and gas
That's right.
stations.
He didn't
We have
really.
code words, Kevin. We have made up code words.
And Kevin, you'll be talking to me from the spirit world. Let's see if Kelsey will talk to us.
And I bet he'll never shut up. He'll be on that spirit box just a gabbing.
I might fool you.
Well, here's what we're gonna do is if one of us dies, we've got these envelopes, and they are sealed envelopes, and we wrote a word or something down, a strange word that is not an everyday word, or could be a good word. I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna
Right
see
now,
the spirit box.
we're gonna say good night because we're tired of looking at each other's faces. And we will endure this until next Tuesday night. Kevin and we should be planning an outing with Kevin sometime to go do some fascinating ghost hunting, vampire chasing, zombie killing, something. How can you kill a zombie? Zombie's already dead. I don't know how to affect that.
You gotta shoot it in the head.
Okay, folks. Thank you for joining us. Kevin, thank you for the wonderful stories. Becky, the haunted entity from wherever that kept the cat ball going for 45 minutes. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm sorry that Kevin chased you away, but forgive him, will you? And Lady Cat Marie, thank you for joining us and entertaining people with your stories as well. And close your mouth. They're seeing your cavities. Jeez. All right. Everybody have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Love y'all.